we're gonna end up circling back into a little bit of sample clearance discussion off of the backs of what I wanted to talk about a little bit. Um, so I've been spending a lot of time on YouTube, mostly because, well, actually, I spend a lot of time on YouTube anyway. Like that's one of my main methods of media consumption is just listening to people talk about subjects that I enjoy on YouTube. And I've also began, and as I'm sure some of you have seen, um, when we have discussions or segments here on the morning show that align with stuff people are searching for on YouTube, I'll clip it out and put it up there. Um, and some of them have caught steam. Like I have, quite a few clips from the morning show that have like 10,000 views or whatever, just from something that we discussed. Cause I want to ultimately build up my YouTube presence as well. But one interesting intersection that's put me at is that I get shown a lot of the breakdown videos for like the rap beef stuff. And since the Drake and Kendrick beef was so big this year, like I've noticed it's sort of powered this entire cottage industry of people doing these song breakdowns on YouTube. But it's getting to the point where it's kind of like mystifying for me, because 9 out of 10 of the videos that I see, it's just some dude. It's just some person with no credibility claiming to understand each reference in one of these beef songs. And it just blows my mind. It just absolutely blows my mind. Like the confidence it takes to step out and say that you understand what these writers in this medium that you as a person have never engaged in as a writer, and you don't know these people personally at all, but you on the other end of that supply chain as a consumer feel like you can say definitively what the lyrics of a song mean, and that confidence can not only guide you to create content that expresses what you think this definitive meaning is, but that some of it can get really, really popular. And like I said, to me, it's just absolutely mystifying. And I saw some people talk about it here in the chat. But yeah, when the "What's the Dirt" video, the most recent one, came out, I started trying to watch it, and it got to a take where I was baffled so much that I had to turn it off. I couldn't get past a certain point. So this is the "What's the Dirt" guy. Let me show you. Okay, so this is "What's the Dirt." This is this YouTube channel. It's got 381,000 subscribers. He dropped this Drake Family Matters diss. Actually, all caps here, actually explained tons of new info in parentheses. It's got 255,000 views from a day ago. I think it's probably 2 days ago at this point. And his Kendrick 616 in LA diss, actually explained in all caps, has 1.2 million views. And it's mystifying. And I'll play a little bit of it, and I'll play you the take that made me turn it off. It's probably still at that part right now.
On top of him, he's forced now to deal with them too. He's saying he wanted to keep this PG, right? He wanted to keep.
This maybe is a little further.
Doesn't approve of him using this word.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm gonna play that whole take. I'm not gonna play the whole video. Of course I'm not gonna play the whole video. It's 2 hours. But I did want to play this take, so if you haven't heard this, it'll hit your nervous system freshly like it hit mine.
And 50 was known for beefing with multiple opponents.
This isn't it yet,
being
but I think
extremely ruthless and petty. Now, many people assume that 50 gave this chain to Drake, but this is completely false. as Drake had this chain custom made Kendrick shots on Euphoria. And I was able to find the exact design that he was wearing, and it doesn't approve of him using
Okay, it's right here.
symbolism. If you look closely, Drake is wearing a FUBU shirt and flashes the middle finger, which is clearly a bold response to Kendrick's shots on Euphoria. And I was able to find the exact design that he was wearing, and it's like 90s vintage FUBU.
Okay, I think it's right after this part.
He's really saying fuck you.
But FUBU never had been your collection.
Drake starts off the track with a direct rebuttal to Kendrick's claims on
It's this part.
Euphoria when Kendrick clowned him for his use of the N-word.
We don't wanna hear you say nigga no more.
Drake strategically trolls Kendrick by getting his own mother to start off the track, requesting that Drake not use the word.
Maybe in this song, you shouldn't start by saying,
Nigga, I said it, I know that you mad.
It's pretty clever because his mother probably doesn't approve of him using this word either. She probably asked him many times over the years not to use it, but she ultimately couldn't do anything about it because Drake is half black, the other side of his family uses it, so she had really zero say in the matter. So he's pretty much saying, like,
Yeah, it's
my
brain
own
rot for
mom
sure.
couldn't stop me. You're definitely not going to. And what's also really clever
so
here
this-
is that
this take.
Drake is 37 years old, and he says the N-word 37 times on this track, and I believe his reasons for doing this is he's basically saying the word for
Yo.
every year that he's been alive to symbolize that
Yo.
he was indeed born black. And look, I know this is all about culture and not really about race, but no matter how you spin it, a lot of the themes that Kendrick uses in his own music.
So look, so let's break down the breakdown for a second here. So this guy counted every time Drake said nigga in the song. So, and you know, maybe he just looked at the lyrics. I don't know if he kept playing the song over and over again. But he thought it was significant to count the amount of times that Drake said nigga in this song. He thought that I mean so just off top, like it's like that's where the mystery starts for me. Is why would somebody think the amount of times that Drake says nigga in a rap song is important in any way? Let's say that Drake's most diabolical, I'ma diss him in every dimension I can think of mind, actually planned the amount of times he was going to say it. Let's just say that was the case. Like I guess it's like as a music listener, I just don't. I have a hard time understanding how you get to a point where like that's the level of breadcrumb you're looking for, like in a song that has like very overt messages in it. Like you can't think that that's what the song is about. And so this is the way that you're now spending your time, and you're making an important point in your very authoritative, definitive, actually in all caps, what does this song mean breakdown video. And do you not think you look insane? Like, do you like, I'm curious, I'm fascinated by like kind of where this beef has put people. And I guess one of my questions is like, have people always engaged in rap music this way? Like from the beginning of time, and I just never realized that like people were pouring over every breadcrumb and needed to look past the lyrics and underneath and behind and lift every rock? Or is this a new thing? Because it feels new to me. I remember when Kendrick first went at went at them and to like that song, and everybody was, you know, hooping and hollering, backflipping down the street and throwing babies in the air. And I was like, okay, there was like a couple of subliminal, vague shots in there, but people were tripping out, and I'm like, oh, this is like weird to me, because the way that I remember rap beef, it used to be very straight up. It used to be very, I will call your name. It used to be very like, I'm gonna make a song. Everybody's gonna know who I'm. Like, there won't be any room for interpretation. And people were already flipping out just over these sort of subtle references that people were making to each other. And I'm super curious of if that's like a new way that people are engaging in rap music, and what started that. Because this isn't just limited to people making videos. Like, you just see this on Twitter. You see this on Reddit. Like, it's just people. This is just people. And like, if you look at how many views something like this has, like, a lot of these people watching these videos, these aren't people who are just going to turn around and make their own videos. These are people who are breaking down, analyzing, taking apart every little morsel of this the same way that he is. Rap genius. Rap genius. Damn, I think that might be a really good point. I think Rap Genius might have been a seminal moment in the development of all of this in rap music, because like, that has been not only a hub for lyric interpretation, it's been an unchecked hub for lyric interpretation for a good decade now, to where like, mythology, lore starts with interpretations on there that nobody bothers to try to confirm at all, and people just absolutely run with. I remember talking about it on the dark comedy super stream I did. Like, there are people in the world still today that think I have beef with somebody named Lil Ugly Mane, who I'd never heard of, because and on Doug Stamper, I say, stop rapping in your hood voice, and don't do videos with your back to the cameraman. And I guess Little Ugly Man did both of those things. So there are people convinced, like, it's a notation on Genius in that song that says that I went at Little Ugly Man. And there are people who really believe that. Like it comes up in random places on the internet to this day. Remember when Open Mike Eagle sent shots to Lil who? Like, and Genius it's been a place for like unchecked lyric interpretation hysteria for years now. And I don't know, maybe it's been a multiplier effect in some way. But it's astonishing to me. And then I guess you know, the other question too, because I wonder in one sense I wonder where people get the confidence, right? I wonder where people get the confidence. I also wonder, I'm curious why people who are hungry for this sort of information don't require the person presenting it to have any credibility in the space. Like, that's the other part that's very mystifying for me. Not just that the people are confident enough to present this information that they couldn't possibly have any idea about confidently, but that the people who want to hear more about it do not require the person presenting this information to have any credibility whatsoever. Like, why? Like, as a listener who wants to engage in discourse about this, and I guess this is somewhat informed by me. Like, I've been a rapper, so like, if somebody's got insight on rap music, my first question is, okay, who are you? Like, what gives you this insight? Like, what makes... I mean, yes, it's just a question of credibility for me. and why it's not necessary. I'm very curious about that. Suburbia and internet subculture hug boxes. What's a hug box? Is that a real thing or just make that up? Suburbia and internet subculture hug boxes. I think sometimes it's interesting to hear theories regardless of whether or not they're true. I find that with David Lynch films. That's interesting. Okay, but see, that brings me to a point too. Because I like a lot of David Lynch stuff. I really like Twin Peaks a lot, right? And Sailor Sorry will tell you, like, I'll watch Twin Peaks. I'll watch the same Twin Peaks lore analysis videos over and over again. But this is what I find to be the difference. This is what I find to be the difference. When I watch Twin Peaks videos, when I watch Dark Souls videos, when I watch, I'm trying to think of something else, but like these videos where people are making interpretations in those other forms of media, they feel compelled to say that they are speculating. They confirm going in that they don't have the answers, that they don't know David Lynch, that they don't know the writers, that they don't know Hidetaka Miyazaki. So they walk into it saying that this is lore theory and speculation. They don't walk into it. And I guess sometimes they do, but I find that it happens more with this rap lyric analysis stuff. That people say, I have the definitive answers. I have the actual answers. Whereas when you're watching these Twin Peaks videos, people saying, this is what I think it is. This is my speculation. This is my theory. And I guess I'm at a loss for why people are so authoritative about stuff they have no idea about in rap music, but in other forms of media and art, they feel more compelled to say that they're just speculating. Like my instincts say that that's one of the many things in culture that are about people having lower expectations or less respect for rap music. And I guess that's part of why it pisses me off. Because it feels dismissive to me to some degree. Like, why would you not respect your distance from the writer in hip hop when you respect your distance from the writer when it's George R.R. Martin or it's Miyazaki or it's David Lynch? Like, there's this one guy who has this video on Twin Peaks where he says Twin Peaks actually solved, and like all of the comments are like, dudes, you don't know what you're talking about at all. And I'm just I find myself very, very curious about all of this. Let's see. So this is an interesting convo. I went to Genius to look up some Bad Bunny lyrics and saw what someone said about the meaning of the song. But the person not only was an English speaker, so they were trying to break down a song in Spanish. The English speaker, they were wrong. Several lyrics were referencing an old reggaeton song from the 2000s. Yeah, Genius really might be part of like the origin of all of this. I did want to, I said this, I was going to bring this back around to sampling. And if you go over here to Twitter, so this is about a week ago. This lady did this tweet that says, "Who's not police but feels like police to you?" And I wrote, "WhoSampled?" And this tweet of mine caused a real shitstorm. A real shitstorm. And mind you, what I was trying to say, and I felt like I was saying it pretty clear, is that like it's not the police. Like, it's not illegal, it's not immoral to have a WhoSampled, but sometimes from where I sit, the website WhoSampled feels like the police, right? Now, that's my position as somebody who's been putting out rap music for 15 years, who has cleared samples, who who knows people who've had to have music taken down because they didn't clear samples, who has tried to clear samples but has found that the price was too expensive, so I couldn't put the song out. I had to have things replayed. So that's where I'm coming from. And it's okay, there's 53 replies, 673 retweets, 8,000 likes, whatever. It caused a shitstorm. And like, these are some of the things that were said to me. And these are mostly by people who do not do any of the things that I just said I do. Okay. So this person says, then Wikipedia and an album's literal liner notes would be the police too. And I said, do you need me to tell you why that makes zero sense? And it's like that level of, like, I understand that you like the website WhoSampled. I understand that. Like, WhoSampled used to be called this website. Used to be this website called Rap Sample FAQ way back in the day. I went on there. I thought it was interesting. Now, mind you, that was when I was solidly on the consumer side. And now I'm more on the creator side. So that whole website takes on a different meaning for me. Now, because I still empathize and relate to the consumer side of it, I totally get why somebody would enjoy being on there. But to me, now solidly on the creator side, the website feels different. And so for this person to equate WhoSampled with Wikipedia and an album's literal liner notes, like, that is extremely ignorant. Like, there's this basic legal understanding of how sampling works that WhoSampled does not care about. This person must believe that every sample listed on WhoSampled is a cleared sample that the artist and that the artist who did the sampling and the sampled artist are completely aware of, that is out there as public information. And it is absolutely not. Like, if a sample is on somebody's Wikipedia page and on their liner notes, that means they paid for it. They cleared it. That is an entirely different conversation than WhoSampled, which is just a straight, unverified database, sometimes of shit that's not even right. Somebody put, rap motherfuckers will gripe and bitch about intellectual property laws repercussions, but won't unionize or do literally anything to challenge the status quo. Petite bourgeois businessman rappers deserve their samples aired out. What the fuck conversation even is that? Like, what is happening? What is happening? This is madness. By this reasoning, music theory, I guarantee you true sampling artists like the app. See, this is real weird. This is somebody saying that the RZA, Q-Tip, and DITC would have been all over WhoSampled. Are you kidding me? Again, please tell me that you have no idea how any of this works. Those same people go to buy records now and won't tell anybody what they bought. Like, the trust that it took back in the day for them to even tell each other what they sampled, let alone tell the world. There's an interlude on the Gangstar album Moment of Truth where Premier goes off about sample snitching records, like those records that used to get put out. Some third party would just compile the songs that got sampled for albums and say on the album notes, oh, this was sampled by Gangstar, this was sampled by Q-Tip, this was sampled by RZA. They hate that shit. And this is, I ended up tweeting about this again because of how crazy this was all driving me. This week, I've had many people that have never tried to clear a sample before tell me how much samples cost, how easy it is to clear samples, that because they love knowing what samples are, But because they love knowing what samples are used, it means unverified sample databases are universally great. Like there's no room for discussion about it because they like it. And they tell me how much money I make. I had a bunch of people tell me that because I make so much money off of music, I shouldn't have any problem clearing samples. I don't know where people get these ideas that they express so confidently about a media and an industry that they have no idea about past hearing music. And are people this misguided about how everything works business wise? Radstash says yes. Skits Fritz says kinda yes. People who don't make things always have the strongest opinions about how things are made. Well then, I mean that's good to know. Because to me it was starting to go together with this other idea of like people just guessing, people not feeling like they need any credibility to have opinions and feeling like they can come at me like they know about the business I'm in better than I do. And in my head, this is kind of married to this sort of rap music disrespect thing, but that could be my mind taking it too far. Gatekeeping is great, but now they feel like they know what they're talking about. I don't know where people get the confidence. I really don't. Like I would sort of get it if it's just a Reddit thread and people are arguing with each other, but it don't take but a glance at my schizophrenic. Thank you for the submarine. It don't take but a glance at my profile on here that you are actively replying to be like, hey, this guy might know what he's talking about. Like this guy maybe has an idea of how it goes on inside the industry that he's clearly in. I also wonder, just to take it back to the rap genius of it all and all of that stuff. I wonder how much of this is because rap to a degree, like, and it's the same. It's the stuff I talk about with Kendrick sometimes that I've brought up about how things are left sort of open to interpretation. I mean, I would assume that's part of it too, that it sort of feeds this beast of everyone feeling like they need an opinion. Everyone who's already picked a side, needing to sift through the lyrics that are there to find things to justify the position they already have. I do feel like it's been a little bit due to the artist's choice to that degree as well. But I'm fucking tired of it. I'm so tired of it. Like I'm tired of people feeling like they have all the answers when they couldn't possibly. I'm tired of fucking people that make very important statements leaving shit open-ended. Like, it's fucking exhausting. Yeah, social media too. I guess that's absolutely true. This is or another factor in this is the intersection between the rise of rap, rap has a lot of words in it, which means, there's a lot to sift through to begin with, like more than other genres. Like, that's one conversation we like to have inside rap circles is how many more words we have to write than people in other genres. But it's the rise of the importance of rap music meeting the rise of social media as well. When having the hot take has such cultural import, there's so much cultural currency associated with having the hot take. There's so many opportunities to have the hot take, whether you're right or wrong, when it comes to analyzing like a big rap song. I mean, I enjoy it too. Like, I enjoy the beef for what I perceive the beef to be in just the songs. And in some of the social media moves from the rappers, What I'm becoming exhausted by is the fucking peanut gallery shit. It's becoming very fucking exhausting. I've like had some conversations with rappers that like it's getting to the point where like a lot of rappers I know, they won't say anything publicly about rap music. They won't say anything about it because they don't want to deal with this shit. They don't want to deal with like these people and their attitudes, like these fucking know-it-all attitudes. When like most people just have no idea like the sacrifices and heartbreaks. And I guess when I say that out loud, I'm like, oh, that's another part of it. The social media part of it for creators is that we're not encouraged to show the heartbreaks and the sacrifices. We're only encouraged to show the wins. So if we make everything look like it's all fucking peaches and roses, then to some degree, all people are going to think it is peaches and roses. So I think that's a part of the game that's missing too, is for like a place within the internet, within social media, within this intense commerce back and forth that makes a space for creators to actually be human beings and express that there's so much fucking darkness to all of this shit. So then people don't run off half-cocked thinking that I'm a millionaire who can clear every sample. You know, that Drake is so much of a genius that he's going to count the amount of times he says nigga and he's going to make it his age because that'll show Kendrick, that'll show him that I don't care if he thinks I'm black or not because I said nigga on a song after he told me not to once for every year I've been alive on the earth. Like, I think we'd be in a better place if we thought about the creators more as fucking human beings and less super geniuses and shit. Belligerent asks, how much do samples cost in general? It very much depends on the artist. Somebody can say 1,500, somebody can say 10,000. Somebody cannot want you to do it, so they'll say it'll cost you $1 million. Somebody can say, oh, $500 to clear, but then I want all the publishing, so you don't make any money off that song. All the money off that song goes to me. Like, it really depends on the artist. It depends on the lawyers representing the artist. Some lawyers are far more litigious than others. Some people just get into this game, and that's another reason why WhoSampled is so dangerous. There are some lawyers who like their entire financial existence is based on people who have used samples by artists they represent so that they can pursue that legally and make money. You know, so am I saying WhoSampled shouldn't exist? No. But am I saying that it feels like the Feds sometimes? Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes it feels like the Feds. I also wonder if this happens in other genres. Do people run off half-cocked and make wild interpretations in country music? Is Country Genius full of misinterpretations? Probably. I bet Taylor Swift probably has a lot of wild misinterpretations of her shit. I bet that's probably the case. I mean, you know, I wonder if it happens in pop. I'm sure it does. You know. But that's the thing. Somebody asked earlier in the chat. They asked what eusexua is about. And you know what I love about that question? For the most part, pop culturally, people are engaging with FKA Twigs' music and their music video, and they're not falling over themselves asking the question, what is eusexual about? The question is not stopping anybody from enjoying it. I did this talk one time at XOXO Festival where I was talking about, I had just written the song Relatable, and it was just about at the point where it was about to come out. And I knew that I was about to be asked questions about what this project meant. This is the What Happens When I Try to Relax project. And I realized that I had forgotten what that song was about. Like, the part of me who wrote it was back months ago, the day that I wrote it. And I'd written all these other songs, and now I'd thought so much about packaging and had tried to set up tours. And this was the first album, first project I was putting out on my own label. So I was thinking about all this business stuff. And when it got to when it was about to come out, I had no idea what that song was about anymore. And I knew I was going to be asked that a lot because I do a lot of, press. Press is one of the main means by which I push my project. So I knew I was going to be asked that question a bunch. And I was at a loss, and I was trying to understand why that I forgot. And one thing I touched on in this talk that I was giving about it was like, I wonder if anybody ever asked like Michael Jackson what Thriller meant. Like, what does it mean? Because in certain mediums of music, the meaning doesn't seem to matter as much. Like, what is Thriller about? What is it like? It's about Halloween? Like, what is it about? It's about werewolves? I don't think it's about anything. And I think that's okay. And it's like, I do like when people make interpretations of what my stuff is about. The problem is, and I think this is like the real truth of the matter, at least for me. As much as meaning is important to me, I can forget what my own songs are about, and I'm the only person who could even know. So if I can forget what my own songs are about, how can What's the Dirt know what Drake's song is about? How does he find the audacity to claim to be an expert on what Drake's song is about? And I don't know. I do feel like even for us in the world who are hungry for meaning, we need to ask questions of credibility. I think we need to ask questions of credibility. And that's it. That's the end of my rant. Curious what y'all think. I know I said a bunch of shit. This will probably end up on YouTube too. Like and subscribe, homie, friend. It's free. Stop playing.